Hi everyone, it's been a challenging year for everyone involved with hospitality, and I'm here today at the White Horse at Quorn to meet my close colleagues, business owners here, Martyn and Dave, who are going to share their story of how they've been dealing with the challenges of the last 12 months and indeed what their hopes are for the future. Right, well, great to see you both. Just before we start our conversation today, if you'd just be good enough to introduce yourselves and let everybody know how long you've been here at the White Horse.
Well, my name's Dave, that's my brother.
Martyn.
Been here for, this is now 12th year in November, it will be 12 years. As tenants since 2009. Came into a very rundown pub and spent 10 years sort of building it up and changing it around. And have celebrated every year apart from last year when we were shut.
Indeed, and I remember that well, and we came and sat in this room just over a year ago to talk about what next, and perhaps just share with everybody your emotions at that time.
Well, I think it was probably the darkest day of our 11 and a half years here. Sort of sitting there in that room watching the news as we were doing daily anyway, seeing what the updates were. To be told that your industry has been advised from being visited. I remember well, we came in the back room and sat, and at that point we had no idea what the future held.
Being worried at the time about paying your own mortgage, coming in the room and deciding, are we going to open, when we're going to open again, and what's going to happen to, so we've got 3 or 4 key members of staff. When we're due to reopen, are we still going to have those people? A very worrying time.
Told them as much as we knew it and shut the doors.
How have you and your families been over this last 12 months?
It was a very difficult time, not knowing, obviously you've got bills at home to pay, and Dave's got kids and family as well. It must have been...
Yeah, it was worrying times. I mean, my wife, my stepdaughter, myself, my brother, and we all rely on this pub for our family's income, and to not know where we were going to be in 3 to 4 weeks, and 12 months later we're still shut. So quite daunting, but we spent the 3 or 4 days prior to Boris closing the whole nation planning a takeaway option. That's pretty much all we could do. Like most people were getting sent home from wherever they worked. It wasn't like we could go and find another job somewhere. And we wanted to be in this pub when it reopened.
What's your view of the package of support that you've received?
The fact that Everards have been great with the rent, as in we didn't pay rent for a long time, has enabled us to sort of continue doing what we're doing in the pub and keep our heads above water. The fact that we didn't have to sort of tell the staff there's nothing for you, you've all lost your jobs. That was the biggest thing for me. Has
what you've learned and done over the last year influenced your thinking for the future in terms of how you offer, what you offer customers, how you lead your team? Has it given you some fresh ideas?
What we didn't have in the garden prior to lockdown was any sort of ordering facilities in the garden. The service we did last summer and we'll do this summer is all about the table service. We'll probably maintain that after the restrictions have been dropped. And I think going forward as well, we've done a lot of work in this back room, which will be where we're sitting now, sort of a cocktail, live music restaurant, and you guys helped us out with that as well, so it's been great that we've been able to implement our ideas. The takeaways are going to be a permanent fixture.
Now, I know that pre-pandemic and during the pandemic, you as a team have always placed the community at the very centre of what you do in terms of raising money for charitable causes and very much making the community inextricably linked to the pub. Just share with us what you've done over this last 12 months in that area.
We've done a lot of work with our charity, the White Horse Wishing Well. We use that charity because we couldn't do what the charity normally does every year. We use the money, some of the money we've raised over the last few years to buy these hampers for frontline NHS staff, and delivered over 90 in the first, I think, 6 weeks, 90 hampers. From that we set this tip jar fund up where instead of us getting tips for the delivery drivers, or people would ring up and go, a piece is £10, make it 12. we were putting all the tips in a little fund and using it to do stuff for people in the community.
It's an amazing story, thank you. Just finally, as we now look ahead to the future, do you have a view and a message to somebody who perhaps is considering taking on a hospitality business, be it a pub or a pizzeria, and what role Everard's can play in their decision making?
I wouldn't have liked to have been with any other brewery during this pandemic for the last 12 months. You guys have been really supportive to us. From the day we shut the pub, you made it clear that you wanted to help us get through the end of this, and we're hopefully nearly there. And I wouldn't like to think where would be if it had been another brewery who haven't been as supportive as Everard's have. So for me, if you're looking to get involved with any brewery at all or any sort of tenancy, definitely would choose Everard's over anybody else.
Thanks very much, Dave. Thanks, Martyn.